In this video, I'm going to show you how to do a regularly scheduled backup in webmin virtualmin. Now, webmin virtualmin is a control panel, much like cpanel. If you don't have webmin virtualmin, then you really can't use this video to help you. But let me show you how I have this structured, and that's the main thing I wanted to point out in this video is how I actually have the backup structured to go out. So I have one for each day of the week. You can see right here I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then I also have two other ones. I have one for the 1st of the month and one for the 15th of the month. This is just so that I have a couple of weeks, at least a couple of weeks, that I can pull a backup from. So if today happens to be the 1st and it happens to be a Wednesday, so I could actually, if I didn't realize that there was a problem a week and a half ago, I can pull up the 15th backup and pull that one up and do that. Now, if I didn't realize that something happened today or something that happened today, then I can always pull up last night's backup. But if I didn't realize that it didn't happen until a week ago, then I can pull up last week's backup. So you have to realize that if it's Wednesday, it happened at 2 a.m. on Wednesday. So I can still pull up Wednesdays because today is Wednesday and it's 8:30 in the morning. That means that I could pull up last night's backup if it happened between now and then. Anyway, so what I do is I have one for each day of the week, and then I have one for the 1st and one for the 15th. Now, the way I also have this structured is these are full backups. So I always run the full backup, the full restore first. If I'm going to restore one from yesterday, say I wanted to restore it from Thursday, then first what I would do is, since today is the first day of the month, there would be a full backup that was done, and today would be a good one to use because today is the 1st and I wanted to restore it from yesterday. So I would restore it from the 15th and then I would restore it from Thursday. So this one is the incremental. Incremental means it's just going to be quicker. It's going to only do the things that need to be done that wasn't done on the last full backup. So anything that's changed, that's only the files. It's not going to actually it's going to do a full backup of the database as well. So you need to understand that the incremental is only the files themselves. It is not the database and things like that. So virtualmin is not going to go in and check the database and see if anything's changed in the database. It's only going to check the files. Okay, so with that in mind, let me show you how we have this one of these set up. So here is the 15th. Let me pull that one up, and the reason I want to pull this one up is because I have some bogus information in here. So I don't have to reveal, for example, my email address and stuff like that. So right now I have a full virtual, all the virtual servers being backed up. Features and settings, I haven't done anything really special there. I go into the destination and format, and you can see that there's local file. So on one of my servers, I have 2 hard drives, and I have one hard drive has been mounted, and it's been called backup drive. So it acts just like another server on, or acts just like another folder on that server. In that particular folder, I have another folder called TESDNS, which is basically for this particular server here. And then I have the folder called the 15th. I log in through SSH on this server, and the reason I'm doing that is you can see I could do an FTP in. I can FTP it and just transfer it over. However, FTP, if I did it that way, from what I understand, would actually mean that my data would leave the data center and then come right back to it, which is not that big a deal. However, that means my bandwidth is getting hit at the data center. And since I'm transferring large files, I don't want to peak my bandwidth. I'd rather just have it port right into the server and just send it right over to the server. So I may be mistaken on that, and if so, I'm sorry, but the way I've chosen to do it is through an SSH port, which is basically I put in the IP address, I put in the port that I'm connecting to. You can see it has a colon right there. Most SSH ports are 22. I change mine on most of my servers to be different so that it's just not as easily hacked. You can see that it has a nice easy setup for Amazon S3 bucket and also for Rackspace Cloud Files, which makes it really nice if you want to use either of those. And in that case, you would be using some of your bandwidth to send these files to those particular places, and they're also not free. But Amazon is free up to a certain point. I'm not sure about Rackspace. So if you're under, I think, like 500 gigabytes or something like that, I think you're free, and it allows so many transfers. I can't remember all the details, but That's you can look into that. So if it was local, then I would just click on local, and then I would just choose the drive, and boom, we'd be done. But here I need to put in the path, of course, the login information, and here's how I also have this set up. I never delete old backups. I do have it halt the backup immediately if there's an error. Not a big deal, but yeah, that's an option. So here's where you mark it as a full backup, and here's where you can mark it as an incremental backup. So you'll see that on this one I have the full, and on the daily ones I have it incremental. Here's where you set the scheduling, and this is where it gets a little bit more in detail. A little bit more work needs to be done here. It's not that difficult, but you just need to go through this. So you have an email address that you can have errors sent to or reports sent to if there's a problem, and you can have it say, also send emails to owners of the backup servers. Or you can say only send email on a failure. So if there is a problem, it will send me an email and tell me, hey, you had a problem there. You can do different things here, but you cancel the backup if the destination is in use. So you can have it do hourly backup, which I don't know why you would do that, but complex schedule isn't that complex. You click on this. This opens up a little box here, and for some reason, there we go. Here it is, and you can see you just pick you select it to be at 0 minutes. You select it. You don't want it to be all. You want it to be at a particular time at 0 minutes at what hour you want it to be. And I'm picking it to be on the 15th of the month. And I have all months and all weekdays. And let me open this up a little bit better. There we go. All weekdays. And then you just hit OK, and that puts it in there. And we don't have any other things that are run, so then we just hit save schedule, and it is off and running, and that's all there is to it. So that one's all set up, and you just need to make sure that in your backup drive, the drive that it's going to be on, that you have these folders already set up so that it can do what it needs to do. So that is how you set up a backup. Now, one thing I did fail to show that I should have shown at the very first of this video is where you get to this area. So what you do is you'd go to the virtualmin tab. So there's two tabs. There's the webmin and virtualmin. I don't know why it's on the virtualmin tab. It should be on the webmin tab, because this is the option to do the full server. And you do need to have, well, I guess you can do this if you just have, if you're just a client of a server and you just want to back up, you could do that too, I guess. So maybe that's why they have it here. Anyway, so you go down here to the bottom here, you click on backup and restore, and you click on scheduled backups right there. Now you can see once I have it set up, I can click on backup and I can click on restore right here. So if I click on backup right now, then this does take, because I do have a whole bunch of websites on this server, this does take a long time. And I can click backup in background or backup now. So I can actually run a backup right now and test it. And so I'd recommend once you get it set up, go ahead and run a test, and realize that if you have all your websites chosen to be backed up, it could take an hour to back it up depending on how many sites you have. But if you do it individually and you say just these specific servers, then if you had another, and I call it a server, and that's one thing you probably need to get used to if you're not used to using virtualmin, webmin, but they call all the websites, they call them virtual servers. So if you have it set up to only do certain virtual servers, and then you add another website, another virtual server, then you'll need to go in and make sure you configure it to include that one as well. Otherwise, make sure you choose all virtual servers, and then it'll just include any new ones that you add to it.